Shalom, family. Welcome. We have a question we want to throw out to you, brothers and sisters. Are the Yoruba people Jews? Or let me ask it another way. Were the Yoruba people at one time, many hundreds of years ago, were they Jews? There is a group that was documented in 1930 that were in Nigeria, and they were among the Yoruba people, and they practiced Judaism. Let me share that with you, friends. Now, these group of Jews were documented in a book called The Lost Tribes of Myth by Professor Alan Godby. He documented this group in 1930, and it mentions here that these Yoruba Jews claimed that their ancestors were driven from oasis to oasis by Muslim persecution, not finding rest even when they reached Timbuktu. Goes on to say, at present, they number about 2,000 people in 20 little villages. This was in 1930, 2,000 in 20 little villages, and they call themselves by the Hebrew name by Ephraim. All right. They have copies of portions of the Torah kept in a most holy place, but their social life is not Torah controlled. It is of their fetishist neighbors. But they retain certain Jewish customs. They observe great holy days. Isn't that interesting, friends? This was in 1930, a group of Yoruba Jews, 2,000 in number, in 20 villages, and they call themselves by the name B'nai Ephraim. Okay. So how did they get to Nigeria? Where did they come from? Well, we know at one time there were many Jews that were living in Egypt. Remember that. Many of them in Elephantine, in Nubia, Ethiopia, which was part of Egypt, because Ethiopia was colonized by Egypt back in the day. So there were many Jews that lived in Egypt. But what happened was the Romans, the Eastern Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire, remember the Roman Empire split into two. There was the West and the East. Well, the Eastern Roman Empire, they came in to Egypt, just like the Greeks did under Ptolemies, but the Romans came in. But in the 7th century CE, what happened? The Muslim conquest, the Arab Muslim conquest, the Rashidun Caliphate came in, and they kicked the Romans out. But as a result of that, many Jews had to flee, and they were wandering in the desert because of that. And so many of them fled Egypt because the Muslim conquest even went into Nubia, went even down into Ethiopia as well. And so many of these Jews, that's why they were the wandering Jews, different tribes, they were trying to find a place to get away from persecution because the Muslims were trying to convert them. Now, the Yoruba people, they are a West African ethnic group who inhabit parts of Nigeria, Benin, and Togo. There are approximately about 52 million Yorubas in Africa, as well as among the African diaspora, mainly in Brazil and in the Caribbean. And of course, we know that they are here in the United States as well. Now, another Jewish tribe that also was a nomadic tribe of Jewish origin that also was kicked out of Egypt because of the Arab Muslim conquest was the Dageton. And it mentions here that this was again also in the 7th century CE when Abd al-Malik ascended the throne and he pushed his conquest as far as Morocco. And of course, what happened to this group? Well, since they got cut off from their connection with their brethren, these Jews in the Sahara gradually lost their Jewish practices and they became nominally Mohammedans. So they ended up converting to the Muslim religion. And so that's what happened to many of these Jews. They got caught up either in the animist religions, traditional religions, or the Muslim religions, and they lost part of their heritage, many of them. And that's why so many of them today, we cannot recognize them because even though they might be practicing Judaism practices, they're still mixed in with these animists or these traditional religions, or they have become Muslim. And that's why it's so important, brothers and sisters, that we need to find these brothers and sisters. They need to hear the true story, the full story, because many of them have been cut off from the original 12 tribes. They don't know the story about the Hamashiach and that he's coming and that the Most High Jehovah is going to redeem and regather his people. So these lost people, they need to be found while there is still time to find them. They still need to be found. Yeah, so the Yoruba people, at one time, many of them were practicing Judaism amongst their people there. And that's what it says in Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 4, that the Most High Jehovah, he said, myself will gather the remnant of my flock out of all the countries where I have driven them, and I will place shepherds over them, I will bring them back. So yes, they need to be gathered, friends. They need to be found. So wherever these Jewish peoples are, whether if they're in the desert or if they're in the city, they need to be found so that they can be told the full story of the Most High's covenants and the prophecies that are coming, and the Hamashiach, that he's coming again very soon in these last days. So we need to let them know. We need to give them a witness and let them know and find these ones. And we can be assured that the Most High Jehovah, he will make sure that his sheep are found before the end times come. We can be certain of that. And so whether if they are in Nigeria or Benin, Ghana, we know we've heard of different Jewish groups in Zimbabwe, Morocco, wherever they can be found, Senegal, we can be assured that the Most High will find them in due time. But we got to do our part. Okay, friends, until next time.